Hi, this is Vanshika Chauhan and I am working as a legal intern with Lexis & Company, and today I'll be talking about the right to self-defense in India. So it is the duty of every nation or country to protect its own citizens, but with its vast population it is nearly impossible to ensure protection to each and every individual personally. So therefore the right to self-defense is one that is recognized by every nation in the world, so that individuals can in some instances take law in their own hands for their safety and protection. And any act which is done in self-defense is not an offense, and also no person will be convicted for the same. So the right to self-defense is protected under section 96 to 106 of the IPC, which is the Indian Penal Code. There's a common saying that necessity knows no law, which means that an act done out of necessity cannot be subjected to the common rules of law. Right to self-defense is a mere extension to this, and the test of necessity plays an important role in determining self-defense, along with other factors such as clean and present damage and the imminence of harm to person or property. Now, in India, the right to self-defense extends to life and property of one person or any other person, and this creates an exception to the criminal liability. Coming to the penal provisions relating to self-defense, Section 96 of the IPC states that nothing is an offence which is done in the exercise of the right of private defence. Further, Section 97 states that every person has a right to defend first his own body and the body of any other person against any offence to the human body. Second, the property, movable or immovable, of himself or any other person, which is against any act which is an offence falling under the definition of theft, robbery, mischief or criminal trespass, or which is an attempt to do all of these. Now, according to the Indian common law, there is no requirement that in exercise of private defense against the life or property of another, the defendant must have any relationship with the person he is saving or he has saved. Now, this right is also not absolute and is restricted by the provisions of Section 99, and most importantly, any force which should be used should be necessary and reasonable in the given circumstances. Also, the act must be proportionate to the extent not greater than the foreseeable damage or danger. Also, the person claiming self-defense should not have used force which was out of proportion to the injuries received or threatened to be received, and the onus to prove self-defense is on the person pleading it. In the case of Thanravil versus State, the court said that the right of self-preservation is inherent to right of life, but in the exercise of that right, no person can hinder the right of the other person. In addition to disproportionate harm and no reasonable apprehension of death or injury, Section 99 states that there is no right of self-defense against an act by the direction of the public servant done in good faith. Also, the right to self-defense does not require mens rea, which is the intention or knowledge of the wrongdoing. Section 98 of the Act of the Indian Penal Code says that any act which would otherwise be an offence is not that offence if by reason of youth, by the want of maturity of understanding, by the unsoundness of mind or the intoxication of the person doing the act, or by reason of any misconception on the part of the person. Also, the person has the same right of private defense against that act which he would have had if that act was not an offence. Under Section 100 and 103 of the IPC, the voluntary causing of death is protected if there is an immediate threat of death, intention of committing rape, kidnapping or gratifying lust, or wrongfully confining a person, or if there is robbery, housebreaking, mischief by fire or theft, mischief, trespass to property where death can be apprehended as a consequence. In the case of Jassa Singh versus State of Haryana, the Supreme Court said that the right of voluntary causing death extends only to trespass of houses and not to open areas with no co-inhabitants. Also, Section 106 is very important in respect that the extension of right to self-defense. The above rights of self-defense that we have talked about extend only to the aggravator or the aggressor and not anyone else. But according to Section 106, the defender is so situated that he cannot effectually exercise the right of self-defense without causing harm to an innocent person. Then his right of private defense can extend to the running of that risk of causing harm to an innocent person. So the right to private defense is practicable, but it should just be kept in mind that the act or the self-defense act should be in proportion and reasonable to the danger which could have been caused to you, or it should be proportionate to the extent which is not greater than the foreseeable danger, and the force which was used should not be out of proportion to the injuries received or threatened to be received. Thank you.